16th of February 2021, the day everything changed for the company Redbubble. The publicly traded company has seen a huge decline, and since then they have done anything and everything to try and recover. Welcome to the crazy story of the downfall of Redbubble. It actually blows my mind that people happily use this company. They are stealing your time and making it almost impossible for you to make any money. Sellers like you and me, we need to consider that it takes a really long time and a lot of effort to actually build a successful print-on-demand company. The main areas are researching, designing, uploading, and marketing. Now, you can't put an exact time on these things, but from my experience, this is how I would break it up. I would spend a few days researching. Then I'd spend about a week creating around 100 designs. Then a couple of days uploading those designs, and finally marketing. Well, we're gonna leave marketing for the minute. And that's about 2 whole weeks of solid work without getting anything in return. No sales, no ranking, nothing. You have a ton of different options when it comes to uploading your print-on-demand designs, and it's actually really confusing. There are over 100 different print-on-demand companies out there, and a lot of people will think, oh, well, I'll upload to all of them to increase my chances of getting sales. Personally, I don't think that's the right way to go. But let's say, for whatever reason, you decide to upload your 100 designs to this particular platform, Redbubble. For some, there just isn't another option. Say you can't get onto Etsy because you got banned or something, or say you can't get accepted to Amazon's merch on demand, or for some, it's a conscious decision to actually choose Redbubble as their main print-on-demand platform. I don't understand why someone would willingly pour time and effort into the platform Redbubble, but maybe you want to. And that's what this video is for. I want to kind of tell you the truth about Redbubble so that you can make an actual informed decision of whether or not you want to use this platform. So, since its significant downward trajectory since February 2021, it has done a lot of different things to try and recover. At the end of the day, Redbubble needs to add more revenue to its bottom line. It needs to please shareholders. Like I said, it's a publicly traded company, and what they're doing is not in the interest of sellers, which is you and me. On May the 1st, 2023, they introduced tiers. This would see an increase in fees for sellers who fell into the standard tier. Again, just more proof that they are doing all they can to increase their bottom line and make shareholders happy, not sellers. Now, these tiers would also favor people in the higher tier. So if you did make it to the higher tier, if you were one of the lucky ones, then yes, you would see more sales, you would get more exposure and all of that, making it even harder for new sellers or people not in that tier. Now, the most annoying thing about these tiers were the information on how to tier up was confusing and didn't really make any sense. You ended up finding seasoned sellers who were getting lots of sales end up in the standard tier. And the only reason for that, in my mind, is because Redbubble wanted to make even more money. So they threw the people in the standard tier who were getting sales, because that would mean Redbubble would make more money. Now, do you remember the noise that the internet made when Etsy increased its fees from 5% to 6.5%? A 1.5% increase. The internet was in uproar. People were boycotting. It was manic, right? And that was Etsy. But no one seemed to care when Redbubble increased their fees for a huge portion of sellers from nothing, because they weren't charging anything, to 18 to 50%. I say 18 to 50 because it depends on how much money you are making with them. But you had zero fees. There was nothing there. And then all of a sudden, for some people, it went to 18, and for some, it went to 50. That is madness. 50% fees. I just don't understand how anyone can get on board with that. Now, what's worse than that, comparing it to Etsy, is Etsy increased their fees, and it was a big deal, and it was something that took them a very long time to do, and they saw people get angry. Now, with Redbubble, it hasn't even been 9 months, and they've already increased their fees. So they had fees and they introduced them 9 months ago, and just recently in February, they decided to look over all of their fees and make them more because clearly they weren't enough. Now, despite the company actually doing a little bit better now on the stock market, that is probably because of all these increased fees and they are making more money as a company. But as a seller, I don't think it's very good for us. It's impacted sellers so much worse than you can imagine. Their site traffic is down, and I'll go through the numbers with you, but it's crazy. Sales are down. If you have a look at people's sales income reports from 2021 to 2023 or 2024 now, you can see that they are getting lower and lower and lower every single month. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing is traffic. Traffic is what we need to get sales because Redbubble pride themselves in having this marketplace. And Redbubble used to comfortably get 40 million visitors every single month. Now they struggle to get 30 million visitors, and that was in December, which is one of the busiest months of the year. In February of 2024, they only got 19.6 million visitors to their website. That is quite far off from the 40 million that they used to get. And for a company whose biggest selling point for us as sellers is their marketplace and their traffic, well, if they can't offer that to us, then why would we want to use them? And on a completely separate note, for investors, I can't imagine anyone watching this video is an investor of Redbubble, but for investors, they have lost over 76% in the last 5 years. So they're probably not very happy either. Now, despite all of this, there are some pros to Redbubble, and I'm going to list them for you. It's completely free to use. A lot of people want that completely free platform for whatever reason, and that's understandable and fair, and I get that. It's just a shame that Redbubble happens to be the free platform. Whereas Amazon merch is also free, but it's hard to get accepted for. It's straightforward to use. There's a lot of crap out there when it comes to print-on-demand platforms, but Redbubble is easy to use. The website converts really, really well. The page, the images, the look, it's a very good website. They also have a good range of products, over 80 different products that you can put your designs on to sell on Redbubble. And finally, the last pro is they have a marketplace. Despite the huge drop-off of traffic, it's still one of the most popular marketplaces in the print-on-demand world. But, this is a big but, do those pros outweigh the cons? And let's just go over some of the cons now. Redbubble are known for suspending people, suspending artists like you and me for absolutely no reason at any point in time. This would give me a huge amount of anxiety to know that at any point, just like that, I could technically get fired from Redbubble and not make any money and not be able to get my account back with no reason. I mean, can you imagine waking up in the morning knowing you've got rent, knowing you've got kids, knowing you've got things, bills that have to be paid, you look at your phone and the first email you see is you've been suspended. What would that do to you mentally? That could destroy a person, especially if they're actually making good money on Redbubble. And personally for me, that's not worth anything. That level of anxiety, would never get on board with that. The second negative is you don't get the customer's information. Meaning when someone buys, you don't get their address, you can't market to them later. Meaning, well, you can't build a business. It's impossible to build a business if you don't have any of your customers' information, because repeat customers is the best way to make money. Building an email list from buyers is, again, also the best way to actually build a scalable business. With Redbubble, you can't do any of that. The third negative is there's literally no support. It's non-existent. It's almost impossible. I have tried speaking to support for various reasons, and it really is non-existent. The fourth negative is you can only upload 30 designs a day. Now, this isn't really a negative because 30 designs a day is still quite a lot of designs. However, some people will want to upload more than that. If you're working all day, every day on your print-on-demand store, you might be able to upload more than that. Or if you have a team of people creating designs for you, you've built this whole network, then 30 designs isn't very many. And number 5, the biggest one of all, without a doubt, the one reason why I would look at this company and run not even a mile, I'd run 100 miles to get away from them. A classic t-shirt, so just your bog standard t-shirt, would cost you $20.62. That is another price increase in the last 3 months. Redbubble love increasing their prices frequently. $20.62 for a print-on-demand t-shirt is absolutely ludicrous. And this reason is the premise of this whole video. Redbubble are stealing your time. And what I mean by that is you put in hours and hours and hours into creating designs, uploading, all of that. Remember, the 2 weeks spent creating those 100 designs, that is a lot of time. All of that for a measly profit of $1.16. This is if you sold your design for $22, which is, from my research, what I'm seeing the average being sold for on Redbubble. And $22 isn't a small amount of money. And can you imagine $22 turning into $1.16 of profit for you? I just don't understand how this is not headline news. Why are people using this platform? It doesn't make any sense. You would have to sell an impossible amount of t-shirts every single month just to power the computer and the electricity you are using to upload those designs in the first place. You would need 86 sales a month just to make $100. 86 sales a month for $100. And on a platform like Redbubble, 86 sales a month is really, really hard. To put that in perspective, on my Shopify store, 86 sales is over $1,000. It's a huge, huge difference. The only winner here is Redbubble, because there is not a chance in hell that it's costing them $22 to create this t-shirt, or $20.62 to create this t-shirt. They are profiting incredibly well, and they are making their shareholders very happy. But they are screwing over sellers left, right, and center. I honestly don't know why anyone would use them. So please let me know in the comments if you use them, why. Honestly, if Redbubble was the only option out there, and if that's the reason you use them, you can't get Etsy, you can't get Amazon, nothing else is working, Redbubble is the only option out there and you're making, $50 a month from them. Personally, I would do something else. Print on demand is not worth $50 a month. Print on demand can be a business where you're making a lot of money every single month, 100%. But there is so many other things that you can do with your graphic skills or just with anything where you can make more than $50 a month for a lot less effort than creating designs and uploading them to Redbubble. And if you're thinking, well, actually, maybe Redbubble isn't right for me, then print on demand might not be right for me, and you want to see other options, well, I actually rank all of these different side hustles. You can check the video out here. It's a really, really cool video. So yeah, go check that out to see which side hustle or which business will be best for you.